Today we're going to continue with our look at past perfect. And that's why I put up that video there for you. And we're going to go through our normal practice style, but I wanted to make sure that we also take some time to look at your forums, just to go through and talk about the last pieces of what you'd have done on your portal. In our last class, we played some games. I ended up using Jeopardy for some of our sessions. I hope that was useful for you. And today we're going to go into some normal activity, but we want to make sure we take a look at your portals as well. In this second section, we won't have a forum, but we will end with a test. So this time around, the unit activities, you're going to go through and create your new folder, but the end goal is going to be a little bit different because your focus will be getting to an exam. Let me share my screen now, and let's take a look. All right, for all those who have done so, thank you so much for dropping your names and your groups in the chat. I think there's one or two people who have not done so. Don't forget, full name and group in the chat. All right, let's see if everyone has done so. All right, so let me switch my screens. Here we go. So in today's session, we're going to be looking at, I'm going to try to do two things together in this session, actually. We're going to be looking at past perfect, and we're also going to touch on irregular verbs. All right, they're super useful, and it's really worth knowing how certain verbs change in their participle form. So we're going to be looking at both of these. Now, as you practice, let me just open these up. Make sure you go through and do all your activities, your assessments, create a nice new folder for this second block of activities. All right, in today's session, I'm going to take time to go through these two. Now, on your portal, the last thing we looked at was these three, and we got through a forum. Now, what I'm gonna drop something fresh inside. I'm gonna give you guys an example of an email. Like I'm gonna add one. But for those who haven't done so yet, go back and check. Make sure you have your forum submission. And of course, if you have questions, let me know. All right. Now, as mentioned, we're diving into past perfect. Still looks like one person hasn't put their name in the chat yet. Well, let's begin. I'm going to use, let me quickly look at the attempts. Who was the first one? And I'm going to go with Mariana. See if Mariana is still here with us. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, you're actually at the very end. All right. So I'm going to go with Mariana first. But let's start about structure. We did present perfect continuous last class, and we noticed something very, very important. Had. It's a very flexible multi-use modal verb. In the perfect tenses, we will have had as our auxiliary verb. Now, since it's past perfect, or verb have is going to be in its past form, right? Now, it doesn't change for first person and third person. It's going to be the same had for all. And your verb is going to be in its past participle form. Now, this is super important because the past participle form is the ed ending form or the third form of the verb. Now, why am I making a distinction? Well, there's a distinction because some verbs, when we look at their change, they don't just get an ed ending. Some of them will get a more complex ending. All right, so this is the basic form. Your verbs will get the ed ending. There are some verbs that are irregular. And since they're irregular, the ending will change completely. Right? So we're going to look at a list of those irregular verbs. So the affirmative form, just to go through it quickly, it's going to be your verb plus had. So the participle form, for example, I'd visited the Louvre, so I knew where the Mona Lisa was. They'd studied English before they went to London. Henry changed careers because he had worked as an accountant for many years and was bored. That's the affirmative form. The negative, just like we saw before, the not will go with your auxiliary. So had not or hadn't. I hadn't visited. They hadn't studied. He had not worked. For questions, remember you can always start a question with a question word. You have an example here. How did you? All right, so this is the past simple. We can use question words with the past perfect as well. Had you visited? Had they studied? Why had they? How had they? And you can use that combination. All right, Mariana, let's start with you. When do we use the past perfect? Are you there with us?
One, we use the past perfect to refer to an event that began in the past and before another action or event in the past. The action or event that happened first is in the past perfect and the one that follows in the past simple. Examples: it read the book before.
As in I had read. I'd
read the book before I saw the movie. Dana had just left when you called.
We called.
Had you ever flown before the trip to France?
Good. All right. And if you look at these verbs, all three of them are irregular. Read doesn't become readed, it stays the same. All right. Read, read, read. Left is from the verb to leave. So leave, left, left. All right. Flown is from the verb to fly. Fly, flew, flown. All right. I'm going to share a list of irregular verbs at the end as well. All right. Thank you, Mariana. All right. Let's go with Vanessa. Let's just go up in ascending order. Use number 2.
Yes. The past perfect is used for actions or events that happened before a specific time in the past. Examples: I had already woken up when the alarm clock rang at 7 a.m. He hadn't been to France before the trip in 2008.
2008. I'll include a little practice for the dates again. Remember, for dates in the first tens, we call the number out at the end. So 2001 or 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the others, we split it in the middle, 2010, 2012, 2025, for example, for this year, right? Continuing in that fashion, Angie, help us out with use number 3.
Tip 3. As with the present perfect, we also use the past perfect simple for situations that began in the past and continue to a specific point in time in past, as we cannot use the continuous tenses with certain verbs. Examples: she has only owned one car before she bought her new BMW.
Perfect.
He is been depressed for a long time before I changed
Jobs.
jobs.
All right, good. All right. So these verbs, owned and the verb to be. Remember, we talked about stative verbs and possessive verbs and communicative. All these verbs that don't have a ing form, we generally will use specific pointing verbs like this form, the past perfect form. All right, we're going to go into some activities. I'll open these. But as I mentioned, when it comes to verbs, there are lots and lots of verbs. And particularly, there are lots and lots of verbs that will come into play. And you need to remember the endings. Right? I think I have a long list of difficult irregular verbs. I didn't open it, but here's an example. All right? The verb to be becomes been. Fall, fell, fallen. Now, you might wonder, is there a pattern? Is there a rule for all irregular? No, they're all irregular. So take the time to go through them and kind of understand them, right? And if you want to download, there is an easy list, a medium, and a difficult list, all right? Now, usefulness. When it comes to past perfect, you're using it specifically to show the first of two events, the past of the past. So a lot of your sentences, as you notice, will have two phrases in one sentence. The first one, which is the past of the past, and you'll have another sentence that will be a more simple past sentence. It doesn't have to be that way, but you'll also notice that it is common. All right. Now, I wanted us to do some exercises. So we are going to look at pop this one out over here. There's 20 of us in this space. So let's start with some simple exercises. All right. First 5. I'm going to keep on going up in the direction that I've started. So Dana Jimena, number 1. Are you with us, Rodriguez Lopez? Looks like you're muted, Dana. Are you there with us? There you go. Number one, Dana.
Hi.
Yes, number one.
Sorry. Um. Okay. We hadn't eaten anything all day, so we were very hungry.
We hadn't eaten anything. Exactly. Right? Based on the context, we know it's in the negative form. All right, let's go with Carla Jimena. Number two.
Yes, they had studied a lot of the days before, so they were ready for the exam.
They had studied a lot, so they were ready. This one is a affirmative, a positive sentence. They had studied. All right. Let's keep going with Yetzi. Number three.
Sí. Have you been to that restaurant before?
Had you been to that restaurant before? Nice. Right? Continuing with Angel, number four.
¿Sí se escucha?
I can hear you now, yes?
Eh, we had never seen a volcano before our trip.
All right. We had never seen a volcano before our trip. Tripe has an E, and that's what we have on the inside, our intestines. Tripe. Trip is
Okay,
when we go, on vacation. Viaje.
okay.
All right, one more time. We had never seen a volcano before our trip.
We had never seen a volcano before our trip.
Trip. Good. All right. And Lisette Gutierrez, you get number five. Are you with us, Lisette? Oh, let me see. I'm seeing an extra message in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. Lisette said she had cleaned up the kitchen by the time we arrived. She had cleaned up. All right. Good job. All right, let me continue. We have some more exercises. I'm going to bring up another set as well. All right, we're either choosing the different forms based on the verb in bracket. For example, this is a negative sentence with the verb travel. Alex had not traveled alone before his trip to London. Grethel, number one.
She had I been
I have been.
I had been, yeah.
I have been at home all day. I have to get out and go for a walk.
Good. All right. I had been at home all day. I had to get out and go for a walk. All right. Vetsaida, number 2.
She has teach
All right.
jacket.
That's our first irregular verb giving us trouble. Let's go back over to our list. Teach. Teach is an irregular verb. It's down at T, and here we have it. Teach becomes taught in its past simple form and taught in its past participle form as well. All right? So she had taught Shakespeare before. Again, Rafael?
She touched Shakespeare before.
Good. All right. Let's continue with Fatima.
Had you eaten breakfast when you left the house?
I hadn't. I'm still hungry. Number 4, Naomi.
We hadn't finished the document when the computer crashed.
Yes, we hadn't finished when the computer crashed. All right. Esmeralda Sofia.
We have never seen a whale before or trip.
Good. Easy because it was there before. Let's continue. Elia, number 6.
And she had prepared dinner before leaving for work that day.
Correct. Naomi D. Perez. Totar.
I haven't done all my work when I went to class.
Exactly. Hadn't done it. And then in class, you were trying to do it. Carolina, letter number 8.
Had you met her before?
Had you met her? The verb changes a little bit. Had you met her? Repeat.
Had you met her before?
Good. All right. Now let me throw in some more. Let me see. I think over here is a good option. Let's use the easier ones. Right, here's your verb. Let's go on with Alex. Hold on. Wrong one. Past perfect. Go ahead, Alex.
It's me.
Yes, Alexandra.
Ah, el primero.
Yes, number one.
Ah, she, ay,
Mm-hmm.
mm, she had to leave.
He had lived. Remember,
Ah,
you're using your verb in the past perfect form.
she had lived in Sweden before she went to Norway.
Right. Melissa, number two.
Sí, sería after we had eaten the cornflakes, Henry came in.
Exactly. Poor Henry missed the cornflakes. Right. Let's go back down to Mariana.
Before Ken ran to Henry's house, he had phoned him.
Yes. Phone can also be a verb. To call, to phone. He had phoned him. Right? Vanessa, number four. Are you still there with us, Vanessa?
Oh, yes, sorry.
Mhm.
After they had packed their
Mhm.
backpacks, they rode away on their bikes.
Good. And Angie, number five.
Jerry has his grandma in the house because his father has told him so.
Father had told him so. Good. All right. So the big task will possibly be the past tense conversion. Remember, there's a long list of irregular verbs. I'll send you these links so you can practice. In next class, we're going to tackle these two together. When did you go back here? We're going to tackle adverbial phrases and the third conditional together. So in the meantime, if you hadn't done so, create a new folder and start dropping in things for this new block. If you didn't do your forum, go back and fill it in. Comment on the work of your colleagues. And if you have any other work outstanding, double check. And let's keep on going. Until next time, do stay safe, enjoy your Saturday, and I will see you soon.